All right, so let me give you a little background on this podcast episode. This is a special one.
It is.
If you hear the background, it's because we are in an amazing spot. Jonathan, where are we? Where are we filming, recording today?
We're coming to you from Delray Beach, Florida. We've been here for a few days, filming, creating some other content around clarifying things, hammering on some things as we normally do. As you guys have been with us for a while, you've seen we do these immersions, but this one is very important. And we record tons of podcasts together. Usually we're not this close because we're limited by proximity, so we have to innovate, get creative. But this one today is really important because we have an announcement that it's going to shake things up, but it's going to be really cool.
We have been teasing this for a really long time. And actually, before the announcement, we want to tease you just a couple more minutes.
I think we should talk about why.
Yes, and first of all, I think as an apology to you,
Yes.
is that we have been really, really clear about our mission, is we want to help leaders get healthy, reach sustainable impact. So essentially, we want to see more healthy and high impact leaders. And so we're razor sharp with that. That's what my coaching is all about. That's what this podcast is all about. Any content you see online, we stay in that zone or in that area. But here's the irony. The name is Stay Forth, which sounds awesome to some, and others are like, what in the world does that mean? And is confusing, and I would say ultimately has not been as clear as everything else that we do. So isn't it, I mean, it's a little ironic.
Well, it's ironic.
Your marketing brain, like what do you hear when you've heard Stay Forth over the years?
Well, there's some truth to it. So one of the reasons that we coach and serve leaders is that you say it. Years ago when I went through leadership coaching, you told me, oftentimes you're gonna be so close to the thing that you do that you get caught in this trap of confusion, even when it seems clear to you. So Stay Forth has always been synonymous for what we've been known for. It was your identity of staying forth instead of going forth, but it was different than who we were actually serving. So it created this tension that we were unaware of, which is really funny. And so we had to sit back and eat our own medicine, which is funny to me as a marketing strategy guy to like, oh yeah. And so I think that's why earlier this year when I came to you, I was like, hey, I think we're doing something, and I think there's an opportunity to really dial in on clarity. And then you were like, oh.
We're actually optimizing pretty much everything we do.
Across the board. When we say shaking things up, we're literally shaking things up.
I'm reevaluating my coaching. I have new coaching offerings. There's some things I was doing before that I'm not going to be doing. Every single team member that we have, I am saying we need to optimize what we're doing so we can focus, so we can serve more leaders. We got a good thing going on. It's been really, really exciting. And I think this is just one more area of optimizing.
Oh, yeah.
And so that's really just the irony, is that people have known what we do, they know who we are, and they're like, what is that name? What are you talking about with Stay Forth? So
it used to be a conversational piece. It was cool because it would get people to say, oh, tell me more about that.
yeah, exactly. 90 seconds or so, I can explain it, and we're like, we want you to lead well. Right here is the adventure. So again, it makes sense when we explain it, but we have just gotten razor sharp about who we are, what we do. So what is our big announcement we've been teasing?
And we have completely overhauled the brand, the naming, visual, the mission and vision and values are still the same. But basically we really necked down on what was the sub tag of our brand, which was Stay Forth, helping leaders get healthy and reach more impact. We started to realize, you've seen this podcast series we came out of the summer called the H2 Leader series. So there it is. We're changing everything over to H2 Leader. We want to work with and serve and lead people to be healthy and high impact.
So the whole brand will be H2 Leadership. That is what we want to see more of. And I mean, we want to be continuing to lead the way. In the West, we want to see more H2 leaders. So H2 Leadership, sort of the big umbrella brands, and we're going to continue to talk about H2 leaders. The feedback we've gotten has been phenomenal. I actually, as we record this here, have been with business leaders, just some incredible Kingdom business leaders, and they get it. They get us. They say, yes, I want to be that. And I think the lie is that you either have to be healthy or high impact. And so it's like, oh, get healthy, but underlive my life. Not really go for it. Not uniquely go after the things that God's designed me to do. And then over here on the other side is like, oh, I'm gonna get 1 million of this, or we're gonna push as hard as we possibly can. We're gonna do the next thing. All those challenges we realize are possible to have tension. You got to love filming in context. We got families here. It's awesome. We're in the middle of like a vacation hub.
It's cool though. Like most of what we do, like a healthy and high impact leader, lives in the midst of real life. And so I think, yeah, it's cheeky to sit in that we're filming and there's life happening around us, but you know, life is not going to wait to happen and knock politely on your front door.
We are in context.
Yeah. And so this idea of health and high impact, they're often seen as forces of opposition, but they really go hand in hand.
Yeah.
If you really want to be grounded and you want to be like full, like your health as a whole will lead you towards more impact and not the other way around. So talk for a minute about what we mean by health, what we mean by high impact, and sort of what happens when you're deficient in one and the other.
Well, there's these 5 domains of health that we talk about. And so heart, soul, mind, body, and relationships. And I know those are huge domains. So like, let's take relationships. That's with your family, really with yourself, with God, with your family, with your team, with your community. So think about concentric circles out. So we're not saying that this is easy, but we're trying to simplify it. And so you may say, I'm struggling in that domain, the domain of relationship. You may say, man, I'm struggling in that soul domain. Like, I don't feel like I have purpose. I don't feel like I'm connected to what really, really matters below that heart. You may just feel like, man, I just feel bored in life and I'm not really living the life that I fully can. My heart's not engaged. I feel disengaged. I feel kind of stale. Your body, just to say, hey, how you doing right now? What are your energy levels at? Where are your exercise levels at? Because for me, so many of the things I do in the other domains start with the physical and then go from there. Things like hydration, things like exercise routine. When I fall out of those things, other things suffer. So what we know is we are holistic beings, and when we get healthy, eventually we reach more impact. Most leaders that come to me have over-indexed on the high impact side. I want to do the big things. I want to lead the big thing, launch the big thing. And we've forgotten over here what are quote unquote little things. And I want to reintroduce you to this word tension. If you want to be a healthy leader, if you want to be a sustainable leader, you have to have tension. So it's not one or the other, both and, either or thinking. It is both and. And so I think about like stretching a rubber band. I think about stretching a guitar string. If you're going to have that guitar string in soon, it has to bear the right tension.
But what happens
underdo it or overdo it?
But what happens to guitar strings the more you play an instrument? They go flat, they become out of tune. Sometimes you have to change them, but you always have to adjust them to make sure they're tuned in to do what it was designed to do, to play the notes it was designed to play.
And sometimes when I'm tuning a guitar, it feels like it's gonna pop.
Yeah.
If you keep going, you're like, oh man. But the reality is, underwhelmed or overwhelmed doesn't work. It's out of tune. It's out of cadence. So those are the big things that we're going to continue to talk about. The irony is we are over 400 episodes in, and we are going to continue to bring you incredible content with guests. We're going to have series. The good news is that I'm out with leaders via Zoom, traveling to be with them all the time. So I stay up with, here's the challenge that I'm hearing. So we don't have to wait 2 years to get this thing into a book. The challenges that I hear, like the H2 series, which we felt like was just great, relevant summer content, really came from what I was hearing from leaders in the spring. So we are bringing it to you real time. We're gonna continue to do that. So not only will the quality not go down, the quality, the excellence level, and I would just say the clarity that you are gonna get from us is gonna be tuned up, because since we've started doing this, roughly a decade ago is when I coined the name Stay Forth. We're hearing words like burnout epidemic, overwhelm, mental load, loneliness epidemic, mental health. Like, this is not good. We have so many epidemics, and I believe they're really connected to so much of the elimination, prioritization, what really matters. We're gonna bring in the stuff that really matters here. We're gonna put our ear to the ground, we promise you. And that's sort of our brand promise, what we're gonna do.
Yeah, I mean, clarity is key. And out of integrity, we wouldn't be able to operate out of integrity if we didn't hold ourselves accountable to the things that we teach and that we bring to you guys. So this process has been one of grief, of change and moving on some things and understanding, okay, we're moving on from something. that got us here, and as you said, it's not going to get us there, and we realize this needs to happen. All right, so what are the steps to do it? And I think to zoom out, that applies to, you may not be branding something, you may not be making, big shifts in a marketing endeavor, but you will probably arrive at a place in your life and your leadership where you need to zoom out and say, okay, what got me here is not going to get me there. And this journey that we've been on over the summer, there's some practical next steps here. And so I'd love for us to just give the listeners some things to think through.
Yeah.
That have been hyper relevant to us, that we've applied, that I think would serve them well as action steps. So let's go through, 3 or 4.
Yeah. So let me start with a principle, is that the currency of leadership is energy, not time. The currency of leadership is energy, not time. So there's a phrase I use. I was using it with leaders several times this week, of ROE, return on energy. That phrase encapsulates a beautiful question. What is the greatest return on your energy? 5 minutes of doing this thing can yield incredible returns. Maybe it's impact or income, influence on other people, cultivating environments of meaning and health and growth like you want to in your company and in your family. So that's going to be something we're going to continue to talk about, is where are you not managing your time, but investing your best energy? A lot of themes from anti-burnout are shifts. So we are going to continue to talk about these hinge shifts. One of them just being from a reactive life to a proactive life. I mean, that to me is underneath everything that we're talking about here, is none of this stuff will happen on accident. The health, the impact, none of this stuff happens on accident. Man, we're bumping in here. I don't know if you can fully hear it, but this is just like an awesome, alive place. We got people on vacation. This is like welcome to our experience back here.
Yeah. You're getting a window into these emergent experiences,
which I think is fun. I mean, our studio is this town today, so it's kind of fun, kind of hyping us up a little bit.
So I think one of the things to think of too is, anytime you're making a shift, that you're moving from reactive to proactive, and it's really changing direction, but you don't just want to slam the brakes and jerk the steering wheel, because then you're going to crash out. And so it's I think it comes to, you identify these things, and as a process, trust it, but stay active within the process. Name your priorities, get clear on those priorities, let those become your riverbanks, and then move forward within them, 1, 2, and 3 things at a time.
And just to camp on priorities for a second, if you are not clear, your team will not be clear.
Right.
When I go away and come back, I'm sure there's a little bit of trepidation, but mostly the team just is so ready to respond. Well, because they will never be more clear about our organization than me, who started and leads the organization. That's on me. And so I've had to apologize to our team before to say, I've not given you clarity. I'm just expecting you to read my mind. I'm just expecting you to know what this fall brings. And so that's something that I'm working on. Like you said, the integrity piece, we have to tell on ourselves when we don't do it perfectly. And we're never going to do it perfectly. But also, we'll share some stories of when that goes well for us, for our clients. And we're trying to live out the exact same principles. I see myself as a fellow struggler, but one that's got some great momentum in a lot of these things that we're talking about.
Yeah.
Elimination. If you are going to prioritize, so prioritization leads to elimination, what are you not going to do? So what's on your to-don't list is a reflection of, this is not a good ROE for me. Return on energy for me is not doing anything on the backside of technology. And so Jonathan's lane is everything there. It's not administration for me. It's not the numbers piece for me. And so you start to see, well, Alan, what do you even do? Because we have gotten the team in a spot that they're in their zone, they're in their unique design, they're in their ROE zone. So super encouraging for me, for you coaching clients who are watching this, to say, you inspire me, you challenge me, and you are responding so well. Those things that need to be true for you to continue to coach, continue to grow, stay sharp. So if you're a coaching client, we also want to nurture you with this content. So this isn't just throwing this out to the internet, to the ether. Like, this is actually the people who have been on our email list that we want to send you great content. The people who get my Taking Steps email, I send that out every month. And I'm going to do that once a month. We're going to do that with excellence. And I'm just going to share behind the scenes, like, here's what I'm learning. Here's how I'm growing. Here's how I'm getting my butt kicked. Here's how I'm kicking butt. Whatever that looks like. Sometimes I'll let you peek into my family, sometimes the team. But it's really important that we don't portray, we got it all together.
Yeah.
But what is also really important is to say, man, we've got some incredible language, some incredible tools, and incredible coaching processes where we're helping leaders to win And so this isn't just a podcast. We are a coaching organization. H2 Leadership is a coaching organization. Let me be really clear with that. However, we have a sister organization of Sabbatical Coaching Group that is also a coaching group, but specifically towards sabbaticals. We work together. So we'll talk a little bit about sabbaticals here. I think that's part of an H2 leader, is making sure of Sabbath, of rest, of breaks, deep work time. But we are separate companies. It's a sister company there with Sabbatical Coaching Group. So there's some of the things we'll peek into. Jonathan, anything else maybe we should like kind of warn them we're going to peek into this year?
I think before we get there, the last thing for me is there's 4 areas that I'll work my marketing clients through, whether it's coaching or consulting. The last 2 are relevance and expression. And that's a more relational way of saying what makes you different and how do you message, how do you communicate about it. So for me, this was a good lesson and a good process. And how are we remaining relevant and top of mind in a way that's simple and clear and effective to the people we're trying to reach, and then our expression. How are we going to express that? Whether it's through a podcast, through an email, through face-to-face conversations, through social media, that expressive way of saying, hey, we are the blank people. And so this process for me was a good place for me to eat my own medicine, or take my own medicine, and say, okay, I've watched this work in other people. Now's the time to take it internally and work through this and submit myself to the process to say, okay, if we are going to continue heading in the right direction, meeting our clients, in the midst of their obstacles and challenges to overcome them, we have to remain relevant without being cute and silly, but in a way that's very clear and kind.
Yeah.
And then the expressions have to flow from that. So a lot of what we do is going to remain similar. It's just being more effective in the back end, so we can more effective so that we can be in the back end and effective with you guys. But it's optimizing so that the things that need to remain the same, that are working and have working or continue to work, can do it in with more of a state of flow, so that we can be more relevant and top of mind with those that we serve. To be known as the blank people. Like, this is really and truly the place where we can probably for the first time say, we are the blank people.
Yeah, we are the health and impact people. And so inherent in our work is tension. Inherent in our work, we realize that. And we're going to continue to double down on that. Guys, we're going to tell the truth about leadership. It's hard. It's a hard moment right now. We're not trying to make it easier. We're trying to make it simpler.
Yeah.
Not easier, but simpler. If you're a leader, you're signing up for a really hard task. And that's why we want to come on the journey with people. And so I still see myself as a mountain guide for the leadership journey. I don't speak as one. And some days I go, man, I'm tired. I've been pushing hard. Other weeks, like I would say today is probably one of the easier weeks of what we do, because I'm in context with clients. I'm learning a ton. I'm growing. I'm in a new environment. But that's not the norm. The norm is we're in the trenches with you on Zoom. We're in the studio. We're recording. But I just kind of last thing, I want you to know how much this matters to us. This isn't just, hey, here's how we can get some views. Or, hey, we post these videos online. Most of the videos that get posted online are ones that have been given in a talk 10, 15, 20 times that I've labored through and put in a book. And so we're not just making this stuff up. This stuff is hard fought. And sometimes we'll even share stories of coaching clients. We'll take your name out of it. Don't worry about that. But this is real stuff. And I want you to know, like, I stay up at night sometimes thinking about this. I wake up early with a fresh idea, and always on the top of our minds is, how do we nurture the next client? How do we help you to be able to become the best dad, to become the best mom, become the sharpest disciple, become an incredible leader that is H2? And so we're just more clear about that. The world has changed in the last 10 years and continues to get more and more complex and challenging. And so we're going to elevate our message. I think that's probably the big word here. We are elevating our work, elevating our message, elevating our clarity, and I think even elevating our intensity. I mean, you'll even hear it in my voice over the next few years that we're not playing around. This is not a game. We have exited the city park from a field trip, and we have entered the wilderness. This is no joke. So leaders, we're here for you. Maybe the last thing is we just want you to head on over to kind of our hub for all things H2 leadership. Head on over to h2leader.com, letter H, number 2, leader.com, h2leadership.com. If you get anything close, they're all heading there, but you'll see things for the podcast there. Many, many good days ahead for this podcast, but also we're not just a podcast, we're a leadership organization. And so if you're interested in coaching, we have some exciting new things coming out from cohorts. We're dreaming about some experiences down the line. So it really does feel like we're just getting started. So welcome to the next phase of the journey with us. I could not be more pumped. So proud of Jonathan and our team who's done all this work behind the scenes so that we can get to this announcement, this moment. And I believe our best days are ahead.
Oh yeah, this next leg, you know, it's a climb. You get to one, you've said it before, you get to one summit and there's another one behind it.
Yep.
Like we've gotten over some gnarly ones, and now the peak ahead, we're equipped for it. And man, I've never been more excited and ready to hit the trail.
Yep. So we are not just for business leaders.
No.
We love nonprofit leaders. We love ministry leaders. We are not just for people who are CEOs. Maybe there's a special place in our hearts for the complexity of the leaders that cascade down, but I want you to know that we work with catalysts. We work with catalysts, and maybe you're a catalyst for 3 or 5 people and you lead your team. Maybe you're a catalyst for your family. You're a catalyst in your community. You're a catalyst for the whole company that you started with 2,000 employees, is that we are going to go directly to you. You deserve the best. You deserve us to be clear. You deserve us to bring everything that we're learning from the coaching space, put it right here in the content for you on the podcast. I want to ask you to follow along with us on YouTube. If there's anything that's relevant here, it means so much to us, and it elevates what we're doing. If you just drop that down, text it, drop it on social media, share it with 2 or 3 other people. That's how the brand goes and nurtures more and more new leaders. So thank you. We are so excited, and let's continue to see more H2 leaders multiply. Welcome, my friends, to the next leg of the journey.
Sweet. Awesome.
Sounds great.
That was solid.
Heck yeah.